The crystalline halls of the Zolder Imperial Palace hummed with an energy that made Leo's skin prickle. He had been summoned, no commanded to appear before Queen Isabella herself, and nobody summoned a human deep space salvager to the throne world unless something had gone terribly wrong or impossibly right. Leo adjusted his worn jacket as the hub escorted him through corridors that seemed to stretch into infinity. Their chitinous armor clicked with each synchronized step, a reminder that he was walking among one of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations. The Zoltha had conquered 17 star systems before humans had even achieved faster-than-light travel. "The Queen awaits," one guard hissed, its translator unit crackling with static. The throne room doors split open like the maw of some cosmic leviathan, revealing a chamber that defied physics itself. Gravity wells bent light into impossible patterns, and the very air shimmered with quantum uncertainty. At the center of it all sat Queen Isabella on her throne of compressed neutronium, her 6 eyes fixed on the approaching human with an intensity that could burn through hull plating. She was magnificent and terrifying, 3 meters tall, her exoskeleton gleaming like polished obsidian, her cranial crown pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that indicated extreme agitation. In her primary manipulator, she held a data crystal that glowed an ominous crimson. "Leo Chen of Earth." Her voice resonated through the chamber, translated into perfect English by the neural implant every visitor received. "Do you know why you stand before me?" "I have several theories, Your Majesty," Leo replied, keeping his voice steady despite his racing heart. "Though I'm hoping it's not about the incident on Station Gamma 7. One of Isabella's middle eyes twitched, the Zolder equivalent of a raised eyebrow. "The incident where you single-handedly prevented a cascade reactor failure that would have destroyed half the station and killed 60,000 beings. That would be the one." "Yes." Isabella rose from her throne, her full height making Leo feel like an insect. She descended the steps with predatory grace, the data crystal still clutched in her grasp. "I received the engineering report 3 cycles ago. I read it, then I read it again. Then I had my chief science advisor verify every detail because I would not believe what I was reading." She stopped mere meters from Leo, looming over him. "You crawled into a failing reactor core, without protective equipment, without authorization, without any regard for the protocol that has kept such facilities safe for 10,000 years. The protocol would have taken too long," Leo said simply. "People were going to die. You were exposed to enough radiation to kill a Zoltha warrior in seconds." Isabella's voice rose, and the walls themselves seemed to vibrate with her fury. "The report says your cellular structure should have liquefied. Your DNA should have unraveled like cheap fiber. Your organs should have failed in cascading sequence. Yeah, that was unpleasant." Isabella's primary eyes narrowed to slits. "Unpleasant? You stubborn, insane, impossible creature. You manually realigned the containment fields from the inside. You bridged a gap in the cooling system with your own body. You held a plasma conduit together with your bare hands while the automated systems rebooted. Someone had to." "Someone." Isabella stopped, her bioluminescent patterns shifting to colors Leo had never seen before. She pressed a manipulator to her cranial ridge in what he recognized as exasperation. "Do you understand what you've done? Do you comprehend the implications?" She activated the data crystal, and holographic images filled the air between them. Medical scans, genetic analysis, radiation exposure charts, all marked with Leo's biosignature. "You survived exposure that would kill any known species," Isabella continued, her voice dropping to something almost like wonder. "Your cells adapted your DNA restructured itself. Your body evolved on the fly to handle conditions that shouldn't exist outside a star's core." She turned to face him fully. "The physicians who examined you afterward found proteins in your system that don't exist in nature. Your immune system had created entirely new cellular structures just to survive." "Humans are adaptable," Leo offered with a slight shrug. "Adaptable?" Isabella's laugh was a chittering sound that echoed through the chamber. "Every species claims adaptability. The Corvel can survive vacuum. The Threnody can regenerate limbs. The Mycelian collective can share consciousness across light years." She stepped closer, and Leo could see his reflection in her polished carapace. "But you humans don't just adapt. You refuse to accept limitations. You see the impossible and treat it as merely improbable." She began pacing, her movements sharp and agitated. "I have ruled for 300 years. I have seen species rise and fall. I have witnessed the birth of stars and the death of civilizations. And in all that time, I have never encountered anything quite like humanity. Your Majesty, you've been in space for what? 2 centuries, Isabella continued, not letting him interrupt. 200 years, and you've already established colonies in systems we deemed uninhabitable. You've developed technologies by combining methods that shouldn't work together. You've survived disasters that should have ended your expansion. She stopped pacing and fixed all 6 eyes on him. And now you, one individual human, have done something that our best scientists said was biologically impossible. Leo met her gaze steadily. We tend to ignore what scientists say is impossible. It's kind of our thing. For a long moment, silence filled the throne room. Then Isabella did something that shocked every guard in attendance. She laughed. A genuine, full-bodied laugh that made the quantum fields ripple. "Summoning you here," she said, her patterns shifting to colors that indicated amusement and respect. "I intended to either honor you or reprimand you, possibly both." She placed the data crystal on a nearby pedestal. "But now I see that both would be equally pointless. You would accept neither praise nor punishment. You would simply do it again, if circumstances required." "Probably," Leo admitted. Isabella returned to her throne, settling into it with a contemplative posture. "The Zoltha Empire has stood for 50,000 years on the principles of order, protocol, and calculated risk. We have built our civilization on certainty and predictable outcomes." Her gaze softened slightly. "But perhaps there is something to be learned from a species that treats the impossible as merely inconvenient." She gestured, and a hoverguard approached with a small case. "Leo Chen of Earth, I hereby grant you the Star of Zoltha, our highest civilian honor. You will also receive a diplomatic commission, allowing you free passage through all Imperial space." Leo accepted the case, genuinely surprised. "Your Majesty, I don't know what to say." "Say nothing," Isabella replied. "Just promise me one thing: the next time you decide to do something impossible, at least file a report afterward. I find I'm developing a taste for reading about human absurdity." As Leo was escorted from the throne room, he could have sworn he heard the Queen muttering to herself, holding plasma conduits with bare hands. Absolutely mad, magnificently, impossibly mad. And in the Empire's records, a new annotation appeared next to humanity's file. "Unpredictable, impossible, invaluable. Handle with extreme caution and grudging respect." The end.